Hello, welcome to JIBRIN Angle on Oweleke TV. My name is JIBRIN and this is my angle. We have today our regular and special guests, Barrister Austin Manta and Mr. Segun Onibio, a journalist. Manta, everybody you know Barrister Manta, he is a lawyer and a current affairs analyst as well. Segun Onibio also is a senior journalist in the profession. Some of you may know him. And so we shall be talking about the events that took place in the last 1 week or more in Nigeria, and several issues will be coming up on the show. And yes, we shall talk about the topic as we go. Actually, we shall list the topic as we go, unlike before where I just list everything on the go. Yes, let's go into the nitty-gritty of what we have today. Barrister and Onibio, thank you so much for joining us again this day.
It's always my pleasure.
It's a pleasure being here.
All right. Let me start with the journalists in our midst. We need your input on this. Now, we've had you people I think you were among okay, let me not go into that, implicating you. The thing is, how the protest is done, right? It's supposed to be for 10 days, right? Okay, all right. So can we take a stock of what actually happened from the first day to the 10th day? How did it go? Can you give us a rundown of how things went? How successful is it? How viable was it? Was it worthwhile? Was it actually worth indulging in? So we need the general analysis, probably just break it down, just summary actually, not details. Give us a rundown of how this protest went.
All right. By and large, it was a fruitful one, because at the end of the day, the protesters had the it was generally a very successful one from my angle. Or not until the boys who joined in the whole exercise turned it upside down. I'm talking about the hoodlums who took advantage of the protest to start to foment trouble. It was quite unfortunate that some of them were, took it upside down, and at a point decided that they were going to start to fly the flag of the Russian flag, like you saw in some of the videos, especially in the northern part of Nigeria. Generally around Nigeria, it was peaceful, except of course for the usual thing that was expected, the killings, particularly in Kaduna, in Zaria, somewhere in Jigawa, in Katsina State, in Kano. Sokoto were also involved, and people were shot in those places, and fatally shot. Some were injured, and a lot of other people were arrested. I can confidently tell you here that those people that are arrested were hoodlums who were milling around, trying to use the opportunity under the cover of the protest to rob people, particularly in Kaduna State on Ahmadu Bello Way and some parts of Banawa. People were being robbed. People who thought, okay, well, they could go about their businesses, or probably just go get one or two things somewhere and return back home while the protest was on, were robbed. Some of them were robbed of their valuables, phones, monies, and so on. And some of these hoodlums decided that they were going to go into shops. A lot of shops were looted and the properties were stolen. But that aside, the protest itself achieved its aim. Why? Because it got to the federal government that addressed the nation. Although probably some of the items that were listed by the president were not things that people were expecting to hear, because it seems like the man continued from where he stopped and continued to campaign. But by and large, he said he has heard the protesters loud and clear, and all of the items that were listed as part of their grievances will be looked into. You could see that ministers were beginning to come out to explain to people that, oh, XYZ is being done we are doing this, and so far so good. We have done X, Y, Z. What notable among some of these activities that was attended to is the removal of custom duties on imported items into the country. The customs CG had to come on to speak about it eloquently, and people who were also around him also came in to also give in their input. So from my end, I would say it was largely successful. Unfortunately, the part that was, well, not unexpected happened, the hijack by the hoodlums and the flying of those the Russian flag while the protest was going on, and the looting, and of course the killing. I have a picture of an incident in Kakuri where someone who was in her house taking her lunch with her family had a bullet graze on her knee. I'll send the pictures to you. They're quite gory. And of course, the Inspector General of Police, in his usual character, came out and said, no, he has no record of any policeman shooting anybody. But of course, they were caught on tape, and it's recorded. We have eyewitness record of a police brutality while this whole protest was going on. So by and large, it was successful. As far as I'm concerned, the government has listened, and of course, they're taking action based on some of the things that were listed by the protesters.
Well, thank you so much for that rundown. Yes, Barrister, let me ask you, what do you think? Are you on the same opinion? Are you of the same opinion with Segun that largely the protest was successful, or you have a contrary opinion that, or what's your thought on that, rather?
Well, on some issues, I'm on the same page with Segun, particularly on the fact whether the protest succeeded. I would say it was a success in terms of people coming out to express their opinions, to express their anger against the government and its policies. But I would disagree with him on the issue whether the protest achieved its aim. I don't think the protest achieved the desired goals, but that is not to say that it was not successful. To me, I look at the protest as the beginning. I do not look at this phase of the process as an end by itself. I look at it as the beginning of a process to hold our government and public officials accountable. And my feeling is that the organizers should go back to the drawing board, draw lessons from the protests, and prepare to launch further protests. Because from the speech that the president made, he considered nothing. As a matter of fact, he ignored all the demands of the protesters. He did not talk about the subsidy, petroleum subsidy, and others. The issue of removing import duties on food items to be imported. I have mentioned here that that is counterproductive. That is going to ruin our economy. We don't need foreign foodstuffs to be imported to Nigeria. And I will repeat, the problem is not scarcity of foodstuff. It is the price. Go to any market, you see foodstuff everywhere. You see rice, you see maize, you see everything, you see beans. It is the price that is not subject to the capacity of the average Nigerian. We do not need to be importing food. It is the policy that made the price to go up that should be changed. Now, if you now open the borders, reduce tariff on importation of food, what is going to happen to our local industries? Those who are investing in rice production at the local level, you are ruining their business. So that policy is extremely counterproductive. It will further ruin our economy at the expense of foreign suppliers or local foreign makers of foodstuff and the local importers who are importing to make profit. It's not going to benefit us. And I asked the question before, except you want to subsidize the foodstuff that you are importing. Will the price of those imported foodstuffs be less than the price of the ones we have in Nigeria? And if you are going to subsidize the import that you are doing, it's double tragedy. You are removing subsidy from one thing and subsidizing in another. And at the same time, the subsidy, who is benefiting in actual terms, in economic terms, is the people producing the foodstuff abroad, not Nigeria.
Yes, sir.
And we should not be subsidizing consumption of foodstuff. We have foodstuff, we have land. This short-term measure is not necessary because there is available foodstuff in Nigeria. So going forward, let me insist that the organizers should go to the drawing board. Nothing tangible has been achieved with this protest. The government has heard the protest, but the organizers must take this as a stepping stone. They should learn lessons from it and going forward, prepare for better protests, the ones that will really bring the government to concede some of those demands, not just say we have heard, as the president said.
All right. Thank you so much for that. I think yes, you and I have talked about this in the past. I was actually critical of this issue of food importation as well. So I don't see any light coming from that angle. So I think I am with you on that opinion. And yes, in my own opinion, I don't think anything. Okay, you said nothing tangible. To me, I don't even see anything I don't see anything that I can actually pinpoint to say, okay, this thing was actually a good result, a success from this protest. Because the truth is, I criticized. I was very critical of the focus of the protest. Because when you are on negotiating table with either an adversary or a partner, you have to be on the offensive. And when you place yourself on the offensive, you place yourself at the advantage level. And when you are on that position, we eventually get a better deal in that negotiation. And that was exactly what the protesters didn't actually project. I expected one voice and one demand. And that demand should be Bola Tinubu must go. If this had been the song of the protest, if it had been the focus of the protest, I am telling you, perhaps Tinubu could have been threatened. At that juncture, he will be compelled to actually giving better concessions, doing something better. But at the same time, honestly, I do not expect magic to come no matter what. Even though Tinubu chooses to do something, what could he have done? Honestly, nothing. Based on what we have right now, the record we have of the economy and the debt that is upon Nigeria, everything, the budget, everything, you just can't do anything. The Bible says, when the foundation is faulty, what can the righteous do? The foundation, Tinubu has laid, okay, he's not the one who laid this foundation, but at the same time, he entrenched this same foundation. So I'm going to be blaming him because he didn't start on a good note. And he's not doing anything on a good note. So there is nothing, I did not even expect anything from him. Now, that being said, the protest, honestly, as I've always said, any protest that will bring change in Nigeria, it will be spontaneous. It will be organic. It will not be an organized protest. It will just come, nobody will see it coming. Anything that is organized, we all know how many billions this government spent to circumvent this protest. We know what happened. Even the protesters or whatever, the violent people who try to hijack it, I bet you if you people, especially if you investigate it, you will understand that even the violent protests, the protesters, some of them, I'm not saying all of them, some of them, there are some of them that I am somehow either by proxy government agents, government proxies, sponsored those things to actually dent the image of the protest, sort of to make it for people to begin to regret why they did it in the first place. So that is just my point. On a general note, honestly, I don't see the protest as anything worthwhile. Unfortunately, some innocent Nigerians, hardworking Nigerians, I watched some videos. I think some of them, Shegun forwarded the videos to me, and I got some videos from other sources or whatever, where you have common man. There was this lady who they looted her, a struggling lady, for God's sake, who just worked hard to actually achieve the little she had. And these hoodlums actually just broke into her house and stole everything or whatever. And honestly, I pitied her. And when I looked at that, I wish I could have I have access to that lady, because I was emotional about it. I felt so pity for her. I sympathized. I really pitied her, honestly. So the thing has actually rendered some people a kind of in a very bad state. That's the unfortunate thing, honestly. So overall, it's the protest, in my own judgment, though, that is my personal opinion, it's yielded very little or no success at all. Okay,